On the track, race number 3. Race order is Only-god-can-judge-fpV. Dom P. Hungry Shark.
Hey, Wolf, I ain't seen nothing on this.
John here, guys, and today we're talking about Drone Wars, where I secured an awesome podium position. Yes, I was able to get 3rd place in the 3-inch division. Now, we also were flying 5-inch, where I flew this, the same quad that I had in the LED video. And I had actually installed those LEDs in anticipation of this awesome indoor event, Drone Wars, which was held at North Houston Soccer, an indoor soccer facility. So the track was very, very tight, and my initial impression was that it was just kind of a big circle with a few little, you know, twists and turns here, but kind of simple. But in reality, it was quite a challenge to fly 5-inch and even 3-inch quads on such a small track with such sharp turns. So, how did it go? It went phenomenal. We had I think we had about 24-25 pilots total. It was one of the largest just local events I've ever been to. And as you can see, there's a nice inscription on there: Drone World RTF, Drone Wars, the first war, 10/20/2018. So that is awesome. That fulfills the next goal in line that I had for myself and my racing, which was to secure a top 3 finish. And this is what I used on that track. This is the same more massive droner 3-inch quad that was on my last build video for the massive droner, and it performed awesomely. I ran this on 4S, and of course it is the Brother Hobby Avenger 1507 3600 kV motors. Performed great. I was using 850 milliamp 4S packs. And actually my first couple times around I was getting more laps with this thing. In fact, we were only able to get 3 rounds done since we were holding 2 events. And so in both classes we essentially had 1 drop. So I ended up with 15 laps on the 3-inch class, and I believe it was like 12 laps on the 4-inch or the 5-inch class. It was less. So that was quite interesting. That's how it ended up scoring. And what I did to navigate that tight course on 5-inch was this is a 6S quad. It is 2207 1722 Hyperlight High Voltage Edition motors. And what I did to slow myself down was on my QX7S on my Tyrannus, I limited my throttle to 80% on the controller. I also made sure my rates were turned down nice and low. I also lowered my camera degree. I did that on both of these quads, lower the camera, and then to slow myself down even further, I actually used a 4-cell battery on this 6-cell quad. So 4S on 6S, and that helped me to slow down even more. So one round I actually did try to run a 6S battery, and that was my 0. I got 0 laps that round because it was just too fast. We only got 1 round of practice, so there wasn't a lot. I should not have done that. My strategy was to run a 4S battery all along, but I thought I was doing okay navigating the course, so I thought, why not try a 6S? That was a mistake. If I would have stuck with my plan, I would have scored higher on the 5-inch side of the street. Now 5-inch, we had 22 racers all together, and I ended up tied for 6th place with Don P. So the timing system just wasn't working because of all of the interference due to it being a large metallic structure. The top of that indoor soccer stadium is all giant metal girders, so the timing system just wasn't reading accurate enough. So what we had to do was we had to just switch it old school with spotters counting laps. So because we were counting laps, we didn't have times as the tiebreakers. So anybody that had a tied number of laps had to go to a race off. Now this is actually my first time that I've ever been in a race off before, and it was awesome that I was with Don P. Now Don P was, I mentioned him in some of my earlier videos. He was the one that had initially inspired me to go from giant 2306 Emax white tops that I had been running all the way down to 2204, because he was blazing up the track back then on small motors, and he just seemed so precise, so much control. And it was really cool to, you know, almost 2 years later, be tied with him at the end of the event. And so I knew that if it was just straight speed, I was not going to be able to beat Don P. Now that was with our 5-inch quads that this race off happened. And so what I decided to do was keep all my setup the same, keep running a 4-cell pack, and just kind of go as smooth and consistent as I could, and hope that he was going to really just blaze out through the gates and run into some crash troubles. And sure enough, that's what happened. So I was able to get the tiebreaker. I was able to win the race off and secure 6th place, which was awesome. Oh, what a feeling. So disappointingly though, I only ended up with 12 laps on the 5-inch class, and I ended up with 15 laps on the 3-inch. So if I wouldn't have been going back and forth and messing around with different battery combos, trying to run a 6-cell pack when I shouldn't have, I would have ended up with probably 15 or 16 laps on the 5-inch side, which would have put me up in like 4th, I think. But either way, it was still an awesome and fun time. Now, to accommodate the indoor facility, we ended up having to run left hand, right hand antennas. As you can see, I have my left hand installed right here, my stubby, and that worked out okay. I was fortunate enough to be running the rapid fire module, which does work quite well for this. I still ended up having a good bit of breakup though, and I actually did switch these switchblade antennas to left hand tops. I switched them back already for yesterday's racing, but it was quite fun. Very, very enjoyable. An awesome event. There was so many people. We were all indoors. Nobody was hot. Nobody was baking in the sun, and it was just a very welcome. We had some people from out of town. We had the Canadian champion in the house, and we had a guy from Dallas. I think his name was LunaticFPV. He got 2nd place in both events, and of course Neil Merrick from Catalyst Machine Works. The team pilot for Catalyst Machine Works ended up scoring gold, 1st place on both events. Wow. And I actually was very surprised to see the day after that he scored 1st place in the 3-inch category, running only a 20 or a 2.5-inch. He was running a massive drone 2.5-inch with 1106 Emax motors on 4S. And I was just blown away. Okay, so he was running a much smaller and slower quad than everybody, and busting out 11 laps on that tiny little thing. I was able to get 8 laps once, 7 laps another time, so that's how I ended up with 15. I would like to do another event there if they would have us. We did have a lot of trouble with, there was a net all around the indoor soccer field, including on the top. Which on the one side that was perfect because we didn't have to worry about quads flying out of the arena, but people were getting stuck in the net. I myself got stuck in the net once. There were plenty of other people that got stuck. In fact, the first practice round we ran, within the first 40 seconds there were 2 people in the net almost immediately. So that was a challenge. We would have to kind of stop what we were doing, get people out of the net, It was just, the net was not very high. It's only about 20-25 feet up, so that was causing people to get stuck in there quite frequently. But even still, great events. Thanks James from Drone World for putting on this Drone Wars event for us. I'm gonna just show some additional footage. Lots of other people had some great videos out there. And if you have the chance in your town or in a nearby town to participate in an event like this, I highly recommend that you do it. It is absolutely great and amazing and awesome fun. So thanks guys for checking this out. Hopefully a lot more videos coming soon. Hopefully I'll be able to secure a podium finish in a 5-inch race very soon. I mean, it felt so good to win that. I just couldn't believe it. Jessica was out there for the whole day with me, so she was watching it and it wasn't even that boring. So thanks for everybody who was there, who was being funny and enjoyable to be around. Of course, Yvonne's always a crack up. MayDay and Numbnuts were both there, and Nick just cracking jokes back there with us. So it was a great time. See you guys next time. Now, we did have one tiny issue with a fire, and it was actually while I was running one of the 3-inch heats. I heard someone yelling out fire, and I was flying so good I thought they were talking about me. I was like, yes, I'm on fire. And then I heard another scream say, there's a fire on the field, land, land, land. So I had to land. I got my goggles off just in time to see a quad on the ground in flames. But luckily they were able to rush onto the field and get it out before any damage occurred to the facility. I think someone's XT60 just got loose or lipo lead and made contact. So great event all in all. Thanks guys.
Do you all read about this or hear this? That you used to go up on Mulholland Drive and park
every night
and visualize seeing yourself as...
Yeah, I would visualize,
This is when you were broke and poor.
You know, right, having directors interested in me and people that I respected saying, you know, I like your work or whatever that is, and I would visualize things coming to me that I wanted or whatever. Drive home and think, well, I do have these things. They're out there. I just don't have a hold of them yet, but they're out there. I wrote myself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered, and I gave myself 5 years, or 3 years maybe, and I dated it Thanksgiving 1995. Just before Thanksgiving 1995, I found out that I was going to make $10 million in dollars.